Even though it's technically billed as a crossover, the Nissan Kicks is essentially what people buy when they want an entry, compact, affordable, and efficient means of transportation. But with a little bit higher ride height, do you pay a penalty on the highway compared to something that might be a little bit lower, like maybe a Versa? Let's go find out. Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test of the 2022 Nissan Kicks. In today's test, we're going to head out and do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour to get you a realistic fuel economy number for this car. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. Maybe. Apparently you gotta press the unlock button while it's running. So the Kicks only comes in front-wheel drive, and looking at the proportions, yes, you may consider this to be a crossover, but it's really not that much larger than a lot of hatchbacks and kind of more compact sedan type vehicles. You can also only get it in front wheel drive, so that sort of takes away some of its crossoveriness as well. But if you do want to see more on the Kicks, check the links in the description. We've got a review of the Bose audio system and a little DM test drive. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives this Kicks 36 miles per gallon, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are people who take their vehicles on the highway and would like to know what sort of numbers you can realistically expect in the real world. Not only that, but because of the exponential nature of wind resistance at highway speeds, okay, we're going to keep waiting, that's good. Crossovers don't tend to do as well as you get higher in speed as sedans would. We saw that the other week with an Audi A3. It did quite a lot better than its EPA fuel economy number when we were cruising at 70 here. But when you get a taller vehicle like this, more air resistance, it's not going to bode well once we get going at higher speeds. So in order to test that, we're going to head over to the gas station here, fill up, go out and do 100 miles, come back, fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method, and get a result. A few things to note for today: outside temperatures 42 degrees Fahrenheit, tire pressures have been set to their door placard 32 psi cold, and we're going to run the climate control at 73 degrees auto. Let's swing in here and fill it up. Quick note of mine is the Kicks still has a manual fuel door release. You're not seeing that too often anymore. It bothers me a bit when you have it. Maybe some people find solace in that, but an electronic release would be nice. At least it's on the same side as the driver, so you don't have to walk around if you forget. 5.372 gallons going in for our first fill. Before we start our engine, we're going to reset our trip computer and GPS, and we're ready to begin. No sorts of drive modes here in the Kicks, which I appreciate. Just an honest to goodness mode of transportation. We're going to take it nice and easy over to the highway. It's about half a mile away. Pick up the test from there. Now the goal of this test isn't to hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy, but rather a realistic number for this car. In order to do that, we're going to get up to highway speed here at a reasonable pace and set our cruise control at a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour. That should allow us to average 70 over the whole test. Definitely got to lean into this little motor, get it up to speed. Equinox behind me seems pretty concerned on getting going. Ms. Bat. Apparently she is a bat. Unless that's like Batman or something. I don't know. Small complaint of mine with the Kicks is that there's no digital speed readout, but I bet once we get the cruise on here, it'll kind of tell us, yep, we're set at there, and we got our GPS as well to confirm. There is adaptive cruise control, which is kind of cool at this price point. Okay, settling in. Looks like the car's speedometer is reading about 1 mile per hour high, so we're going to set in at 73, should do about 72. Initial highway impressions. Engine seems to settle down. Let's bring the tachometer up, see what we're at. A lot of lag in that screen. Looks like we're about 2,800 RPM right now. I wonder if that's because we're going uphill. We'll see as we level out if that drops a bit. Decent amount of wind noise, not too surprising for an entry-level car. And a little bit of sway in the steering as well. But I'll catch back up with you at the end, kind of let you know what my long-term highway observations are. In the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the 22 Kicks. A little bit below EPA according to the vehicle's trip readout, 35 miles per gallon. Kind of what I expected. A little bit larger car like this, or at least a little bit more surface area and wind to fight. We did run into some hard rain at a few sections, so that might have hurt us as well. You can see it's very sporadic. Just like right now, it's coming in strong, and then it'll be done again in just a second. This thing is pretty nice inside, though. The seats are comfortable. Nissan always does a good job with seats. Materials are nice. Yeah, it's not the quietest, but when you're talking about just general transportation, it's really not too bad of a vehicle. Another thing is when we're not going uphill, the revs drop down a bunch. We're at 2,000 RPM, sometimes below 2,000, more like 1,800, just cruising along. So that's nice. You don't really hear the engine running. It's simple. It really is, but it's effective and I've been comfortable. Nice squishy center armrest and side bits are squishy as well. So yeah, not too bad of a car. We're gonna get back to the gas station here, fill up, see if we can reach that EPA figure, and see what our final number is. 2.905 gallons going in for our final fill. 102.2 divided by 2.905 is giving us 35.2 miles per gallon. That is exactly what the car came out with. Look at this. Starting to back up. It's going to take a sec, but it's going to show 35.2 as we pulled up to the pump. Can't get much more accurate than that, huh? So, given the remarkably small 10.8 gallon fuel tank in here times 35 miles per gallon, you get an effective highway cruising range of 370 miles here in the Kicks. Not super fantastic, but I assume Nissan expects people running Kicks maybe are not doing as much highway driving. Maybe they think they're going to get a sedan or something if you're going to. And I agree. I mean, 35 is definitely a good number. It's good for just the whole car market in general. But just know that if you were to get something a little bit smaller, maybe a sedan, just more of a conventional car, it's not too hard to be able to get 40 miles per gallon out of most commuter vehicles. So just keep that in mind. I mean, if you value your kind of lifted up seating position, everything, that's great and all, but you can probably get just about as much space and more economy out of a car. Not that I have any problem with the Kicks. Kicks is cool, but just remember that for fuel economy. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Nissan Kicks, check the links in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.